Good morning. Welcome to So Fun for February 2025. I'm Sandy, and this is Toni.
I'm Toni.
And hello, Pasco.
Hello,
We know you're
Pasco.
out there. And Toni's going to tell you about all the other stores in Washington that you probably came and saw us.
There are 11 quality sewing and vacuum stores in Washington. And as a So Fun member, you get 20% off all kinds of goodies. Come to our presentation, see us live. You can go to as many of the presentations as you want. Everyone is a little bit different, including ours. We get very different.
Yes.
But we
Sometimes
hope
we get
to
a
see
little.
you.
Toni gets too much caffeine, and
I haven't had caffeine this morning. I had a
Okay.
hot chocolate. That was it.
Okay, good. Now we're going to close the curtain for a minute and get
Closing the
ready.
curtain. You can't look. Can't look. Happy
Hello.
Valentine's Month.
Valentine's is all month long for us, so we've got our decked out in our red sunglasses and our Valentine scarves.
Thing is, though, these act like the Ruby ruler. So everybody in this room right now looks light, medium, and dark.
Yep, just like those ruby beholders that you used to take to tell value of your fabric. Red sunglasses will do the same thing. Don't leave them on for a long time, though, because it kind of makes you kind of woo-woo.
Yeah, we're going to take them off because the first time we did, and when we took them off, we were like this. So we're not going to do that.
I always say a really good way to tell value now is with your phone. Take a picture, make it black and white, and you can tell your value of your quilt. And if you have too many darks in one corner, too many lights, except for Toni, she does not take pictures with her phone.
If you know how to do that, I just learned how to turn my phone off because you need to get updates. I've had my phone 3 years, so
Yeah,
go figure.
we updated it in the hotel the other night. The little thing went around and around and around for 21 hours.
Yeah, so Sandy's going to take it over right now.
Okay, we're going to start with the Mini Wonderful Curves book and ruler. You can see Toni's quilt right down here, and on the table it is sunflowers. She did all bee fabrics for her sunflower petals. I did Bat Moon Horizon, of course. I love Halloween. Can you actually tell that those are Drunkard's Path blocks? I'm going to show you in a minute how easy they are to make. And Polly did fireflies. And she pieced her fabrics before she cut her Drunkard's Path. So it's just a little different. So many things you can do with this book. So many patterns. There's a Christmas quilt. There's whirligigs. There's Bat Moon Rising. I used my embroidery machine to put the text up there from the Creedence Clearwater Revival song because I really like it. They look like apple cores, but they're not. They're actually Drunkard's Path. There's a really cool flag that you could make either this way or with one block to make a wall hanging. And there's this tulip quilt. Toni and I are going to be teaching this at a couple local stores. We're going to be in Tacoma and, oh, the chair got on it. How dare it? Tacoma and Olympia, in case you want to come join us and make a little tulip. Toni made a table runner. She's overachiever this time. Now, Pasco, we really would have liked to come over and seen you, but the timing just wasn't off. We did this too quickly. But another time, we're going to be there, right?
At some point, you will have to see us live.
Yes. Here you go. Okay, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this block. So, the quick curve ruler has a few different kinds of lines on it and has this groove. So you're going to use a 28 millimeter rotary cutter. It has good hand. It's for left or righties. The really cool thing about this cutter is you press the button once and tap, and you've got just a little bit of blade sticking out. You probably can't even see that. But if you press the button and take this lever back here and move it, it opens up the blade so it will fit in that groove. And it will work either left-handed or right-handed, I'm holding in the button down here and there. A lefty could use it, and I'm kind of ambidextrous, so I could use it both ways. Or, oh, that was lefty. That's righty. See? So you're cutting rectangles and squares. Here's a square I cut. You're going to take your ruler, and it has this dashed line. You're going to put it on a corner. Any corner, doesn't matter. I'll do it like this because it's easier for me to cut this way. And you're going to cut that right there. Close your little cutter. Now you can use a 45mm cutter, but you would chew up your ruler because this is such a tiny curve. So we really recommend the 28. So now you have two pieces. I cut this one earlier. So I'm going to sew this to this. When I go to the sewing machine, this is going to be on the bottom, this is going to be on the top, and you're going to start about half an inch from the top. 3/8 to half an inch, just to eyeball it. So let's run over to the sewing machine and we'll sew this quickly. Okay. I get to use this lovely machine that has a 1/4 inch foot that has a guide on the side of it, which I can just butt my fabric up against that guide to sew, which makes it really, really easy. You hold the one piece in the air and just kind of guide it along your seam allowance and sew. Just that easy. I'm not stretching it, I'm just pulling it over to meet that. And when you get to the end, it gets a little harder to pull it over to get these edges meeting. Now, Toni uses a tweezers and grabs this piece and pulls it over. I really like this by Annie stiletto because the shaft of it is like diamond treated or something, so it's a little bit rough. So it can pull it over and hold it. Yeah, I'm all thumbs now. But it will pull it over and hold it and not make a pucker for you. Then you finish sewing. And it will fit all the way up practically to your needle. So you could hold it all the way up. I love this sewing machine. I want to take it home. Okay, now we'll go back to the cutting board. And there's your drunkard's path block. You're going to press it to the curve, and you notice I didn't make any cuts, I didn't do any pinning, I didn't do any clipping. You just go right from when you've cut it here to your machine. And you would press that, but I'll just finger press it for now. Then you're going to go back and take your ruler again, and you have, this is the way I want it, 1/8 of an inch line around the ruler. You put it right at the top where the two meet, and you'd put it right at the side where the two meet. And I'm going to cut it down to a 4-inch block. So here's my 4-inch. I have plenty of over. Turn it, cut the other side, 4 inches. And there it is. Look at there, there's my drunkard's path block. So this block in the bats would be a bat wing, could be the moon part. And all you're doing is continuing to make these blocks in the whatever the pattern says so that you can then have enough to sew together. It's really, really easy, really, really fun. I love this book. We've had ladies come to various shows bringing quilts. One of them brought her sunflower quilt that she made. One of them brought a Bat Moon Rising that she made. It was really cool to see how everybody likes this ruler, and it just is so super simple. So then we're going to move on to the Headin' Out tote. I made the one with the turtles. And do you notice a theme here? You see what these are, these blocks? Yes, they are Drunkard's Path blocks. Look at that, right there. They're just bigger, right there. So the bag is roomy, closes with a snap, has pockets inside. We brought in, I quilted my inside and my outside. The pattern says quilt as desired, and I just quilted waves on both sides. There's a back pocket. For my turtles, I used like steam-a-seam and pressed them on, and then I used my embroidery thread to go around them with a triple stitch with my sewing machine so that they'd really stand out. Now Toni did not see turtles. She saw Bigfoot. And he's walking in a forest with a river. So on the back, you have his big feet. She quilted around her river, just a little quilting. You don't need a lot. You're just holding your layers together. Now the pattern is all done in cotton. Cotton bottom, cotton handles, cotton everything. I chose to use the faux leather that we brought in. So there's like an 8 or 9 inch roll by 52 inches. That does the bottom, and that does your straps. And you still have leftovers to make a tassel later, and we'll make one. So when you make the strap, you want to not make it as thick as you would a fabric one. I took my strap, I drew a line down the center, I folded it over, and I sewed 1/8 of an inch. Then we brought in this wonderful stuff called Stitch Perfection tape. And it is a water-soluble fusible that you do not need to iron. So I took a piece of that and I put it down here so that I could bring this edge over. And I just overlapped them just a teeny tiny bit. And I sewed right along the edge. Now if your tape sticks out, that's okay because you're going to take a Q-tip, wet it, and clean that up. Then I sewed along this edge 1/8 of an inch. And then I sewed down the middle just because I wanted it all to look even. So really easy. Don't cut it as wide as the pattern tells you. Cut it just a little skinnier. We brought in the hardware. These are 1 1/4 inch rectangle rings. And the magnetic snaps, we have them in this pretty gunmetal. We have them in nickel, and we have them in gold. And there's the gold in my bag. I think, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I will. I think hardware is going to be harder to find and harder to get as we go on. Because if you notice, this is from Emmeline Bags. She's in Canada. Now what are those, what's the country coming to that we might have to, pay extra tariffs and stuff to Canada? So, Stitch Perfection tape. It's lightweight. It's double-side sticky. You peel the paper off. You put one side down, peel the paper off, and an easy way to peel the paper off is just to score the edge with a pin. Then take it and fold the other side over and just press it with your fingers. It's water soluble. It won't stick to your needle and gum up your needles. It will hold your fabric together or your faux leather or whatever you want. You won't have to pin. It's great for binding projects because when you get to the corner of a binding, it's hard to make that miter, but if you put the Stitch Perfection tape down both sides and then make your miter, it will hold it for you as you sew it. You can use it on ribbon and trim. Toni will show you later a little embroidery that we did that I added a rickrack to, and I used the tape. There's just so many uses. The other thing I want to tell you is this pattern tells you to cut a paper template. Take your paper template, cut it out, pin it to your fabric, and cut it out. And then it wants you to clip and pin. Now we don't want to do that because we already know we don't have to clip and pin. So I made a template, I went to one of those big box stores, and this is a kitchen cutting mat, like for chicken, and they have red for beef and green for pork, I think, or vegetables or something. But this one is special because the back of it is non-skid. You probably can't see that at all, but it won't move. So you can put it on your fabric, you can use your 28mm rotary cutter, and you can cut out, because you're still cutting squares to cut your drunkard's pass. And then you can still go and sew it by putting the two pieces, this one on top, and holding it up and sewing it. No pins, no clips, no muss, no fuss, and you've got it. So then we are going to look at pouches. I have a whole lot of pouches to show you. The quick boxy pouch comes in 5 sizes. I think I said, oh, it says 9 sizes. Okay, comes in 9 sizes. Neither one of us were brave enough to make the smallest one. Let me tell you that right off. You're not going to see a small one. Polly used this zipper clear vinyl, zebra clear vinyl. You can see it's clear. You can see what's in your pouch. It's very cool. I use this iridescent clear vinyl. I don't know if you can see the sparkle in there, but it's got sparkle, which is fun. And then we brought in the sewing themed clear vinyl. This is like a 16 gauge, and it's 12 inches by 52 or 54. So you've got all your little sewing gadgets on it. So this would be really fun for retreat. So Polly and I each were thinking the same way, making little retreat bags. I put the faux leather on mine. She put some pink faux leather. Now you notice the zippers. Yes, we brought in zippers. We had to bring in some zippers. We love zippers. So we have the purple zipper, and we brought in purple hardware, pink hardware from Tulip Pink, but it matched it really well. We have the clips and the D-rings. Then we brought in this package, which is Hollywood zippers. Now you can't see it really well there, so Toni went and sewed the zippers on this fabric. So you can see the different zippers. They are not metal, they are a nylon. You get the 5 different zipper tapes, 1 yard of each. You get different zipper pulls, like this fancy one with jewels, the barrel, jewels, barrel, donuts, and she put one on the pink, she put the jewels. Really fun. So I'm going to show you. People were asking me, how do I get the zipper pulls on to make these pouches? Ah, very easy, my friend. Here's your 1 yard of zipper tape. Both ends have the braiding. And all 5 of them, both ends have the braiding. So it's really simple. You take your zipper pull. This always reminds me of a house. See, the bottom of the house is here, or it could be a tree. You take it and you weave it on, weaving that braiding right between your zipper edges. So there I have the braiding, on my zipper pull on the braiding. See, just like that, I've got it woven on the braiding. Put the top down till you get to your zipper and pull it apart. Just that easy. So you want to preserve this end at all cost. If you cut off this one, you're making a 9-inch something, you have the other end. But when you put your zipper pull on that end, pull it down to this cut end and work with it so that you're keeping your braid to the very end. But sometimes you get the zippers, like this zipper tape from Sassafras Lane, where the end is already been cut because they took it off a 100-yard spool and gave you 3 yards. So what are you going to do when you have an end that doesn't have that beautiful braiding? Well, remember the zipper jig? Remember that? We brought it in a long time ago. but it's still pertinent, and I think a lot of stores still carry it. You put your zipper pull on. It's for number 3, the smaller dress size, or number 5. Put your zipper pull on it, like that. Now that's the back of the zipper pull, so I'm going to use the back of the zipper tape. Angle it, and feed it in, and pull it down. Just like that. It's really, really easy, and you can get your zipper pulls on in no time. The trick is angle it. Angle it, feed them in, pull it down. Okay? You will be very successful with your zippers if you do it that way. So she recommends, the vinyl lady recommended to use a microtex needle, which is that. It's sharp, it's an 80, has a thinner shaft, and will go through your vinyl and your faux leather or any kind of upholstery fabric type stuff. Well, I have a really, really old FOF. It did not go through my vinyl and my faux leather. I got all sorts of mess. I went to a jeans needle, a 100. A jeans needle has a thicker shaft. Went down, got that bobbin thread, no problem, stitched up nicely. So you have to experiment a little bit with vinyl. Another thing, when you're working with clear vinyl, you do not want to use pins. You know, pins will put holes. Holes won't go away. You want to use clips. You don't want to ever touch your vinyl with an iron.
Guess how we know that?
Did you hear Toni? She figured that out the hard way. You don't want to do that. Yep, it will melt. You want to lengthen your stitch to 3.5 or 4.0, and that goes for vinyl, faux leather, any of those type of fabrics. You want to use the microtex or the jeans needle. You want to use a Teflon foot on your machine if you have one. If you don't, remember in November we brought in Teflon tape. That would work too. You want to sew slow. And my machine has the plexiglass around it. So vinyl sticks to plexiglass. You have to put your hand under and hold your vinyl up as you're sewing. And you'll be able to get it right to your feed dogs. So sew slow, hold it up. And then when it comes time to turning this little baby, it's very hard. This is a good, strong vinyl. To turn it and get those corners out, you want to take your blow dryer, stick it in there, warm everything up, and then it will turn like butter. Another thing, when you're putting your zipper on, you have to take your vinyl and flip it back and top stitch it. Very hard to flip back heavy vinyl. So I'm making a mess all over the place. Take your hammer. This is a really cool little mallet. It is nylon. If you have to take your zipper tape and you've sewn your vinyl right sides together to your zipper tape, and then you have to fold it back and get that zipper, that vinyl along the side of the zipper, it's not going to work really well. It doesn't want to behave like that. So take your little hammer and give it a little pounding, pound along, and it will hold it for you. Another thing you can do is warm up your ironing board cover and then put the vinyl on it and warm it up and then flip it back. But don't touch it with an iron. I love this little hammer. Polly likes it for putting in these because you have to flip that piece to the back, and this hammer you can pound without, because it's nylon, it's not a metal hammer, it won't mar or scratch or dent or anything. So she puts all of her hardware in with her little hammer. It's a great idea. Okay, now we're going to get to the...
Tell them about the quilting.
Oh yeah, if you're a quilter and you have, 6 seams coming together to that point in the middle, you can open it on the back and press it and use your clapper, but sometimes it still pokes up. You can hammer it a little bit and then go back and iron it and it will behave. Don't use a metal hammer. I have a friend that did that and she totally tore up her fabric. You want the nylon hammer. And a rubber mallet is a little flexible, so it does not work as well for the hardware. So, plus you make little holes in the bottom of your rubber mallet, and you don't want to do that. No, 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 no. So now we get to the fun part, the tassels. Get all of my junk out of the way. Toni and I went crazy with tassels. We had tassel mania going on. Look at all the tassels we made. You can make them with the faux leather. You can make them with vinyl. You can make them short. You can make them long. You can make them super long. And they are so easy. We brought in the tassel caps in gold, silver, and gunmetal. It's the same as all the other hardware, so that you could make sets for your bags and stuff. And it's so easy to make these tassels. You will just be amazed. Now, I've already cut this one, but I'm going to show you. If you've now Pasco, you have the paper, and on the back of the paper there's a little tutorial that will show you this. Viewers, sorry you don't have a paper, but it has to be 3 inches wide. It can be however long you want it. You take your little ruler and you mark down a 1/2 inch. So if I wanted my tassel to be 5 inches long, I'd have to cut a 5.5 inch piece of the faux leather. Mark your 1/2 inch, and then you turn it, and you just take your little ruler and you just cut. I started at this side, and I just cut strips. Cut, 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 cut. If you cut up into your 1/2 inch, it's okay. It doesn't matter, because you're going to take your glue, and we brought in this really cool 909. Toni puts it in a cup or a mug and unscrews it and uses a toothpick because she's afraid she'll spray glue all over the house. This little screw-on cap works great for me. I just put my glue along there. This is a permanent glue. It dries in 20 minutes. So this is all glued up. Then you're going to roll it up. And you're going to take your tassel cap, well, you're going to take your glue again and put a little bit on top, or squirt it into your tassel cap and stick them together. And it slides right in there, and there's a little hole where a little screw goes. And you should have screws in your package. Most packages come with extra screws, but we each got a package that didn't. We lost one on the floor. We had no screw to put in there. What are you going to do? You're going to go to your framing shop down the street, your little hobby store, and find cup hooks. Cup hooks are the same length as those little screws. And you can screw it in, and then you take your metal cutter and slice off the hook. And you've got something there. Well, now I had a gold and I wanted it in a silver, so I made a little cover for it. That's just a little piece. Never throw away your scraps. It's 3/8 by 1 5/8. I glued it, I wrapped it around, and I put a little rubber band. You know the little 5-quarter stores that are all over the place? You can get little rubber bands like that, and you can cut them off. They're for little girls' hair. I just put the rubber band around it until it dried. And then I had a very fancy tassel cap, and you can't tell that there's a cup hook in there. So that's how quick and easy it is to make tassels. Now what if your piece isn't 3 inches wide? What if you only have an 1.5 inch wide piece? Do the same thing. Cut out your 1.5 inch wide piece, cut your strips, take another 1.5 inch wide piece, cut your strips, glue the two together, roll it up. Your 2 1.5 inch wide pieces don't even need to match. You get a 2-color tassel. So think of school colors, you know, red and black, gold and blue. You could just go crazy making tassels. I know we sure did. Okay, I think that's about all for me. So it's door prize time. Now, if you made a comment, your comment was over there and we get to draw a prize. Remember, if we draw your name, what you want to do is email Andrea at qualitysewing.com. Andrea@qualitysewing.com.
This is a little zippy crossbody bag by Sandie Toni. And the lucky person going to be getting that is Claudia Daus, D-A-U-S.
I think it's David.
Davis.
Davis?
Claudia Davis. Toni doesn't have her glasses on today.
Oh,
Please
it
excuse
says.
her. That says Davis, D-A-V-I-S.
It's only Davis because she said it. It looks dark.
Look, the I is
But
dotted.
Claudia, you're lucky. It's a great bag.
Hey, Claudia, we hope you enjoy that bag. Now, if your store is local, in your email, let Andrea know your store, and she'll send it to the store for you to pick up. If you're not local to a store, send her your mailing address, and she will get it mailed out to you next week. Okay? Now, here you go,
I'm going to
ma'am.
be like Eleanor Burns. Just get rid of this stuff. Like that.
She always threatens to throw all my stuff on the floor. There.
Well, what I get to talk to you about, this is the Cutterpillar Flexible LED light. That's a mouthful. I've been calling it the Caterpillar light, and I keep getting corrected by my cohort here. It's in a holder that can be moved around. It's got 3 levels of light, and it also has a charging cord in it. Now, it's fine and dandy and looks great here in the package, but it doesn't really show you what this light can do. I brought mine from home. This little light is absolutely wonderful. It'll hold up to 10-hour charge. The holder,
Don't blind everyone now.
this can go in either way. The holder has a Velcro sticky on the back, so you can put that on something and then take the holder around, put it on different items. Or we have the extra holder set that you can get, which is really handy to have. Now,
Oh, I have to butt in. Claudia Davis just said, hot dog.
all right.
Yay, Claudia.
So this little light has a flexible neck to it. I don't want to blind you, but I want to show you the light levels. There's 3. Here's 1, 2, 3. This is bright. The charging cord, the only thing I bought extra was a brick. It doesn't come with a brick. What I do suggest, though, if you have some, it's fine because it uses the bigger one. But if you're going to be buying another brick, I would suggest getting one that has both sizes. Newer technology is coming out with smaller charging ports, so this would give you more things you could charge for. Now, to use this, you could put this on a clamp, use it like a book light. It's portable. You can travel with it. You can put it on anywhere on the machines that you want. If that's on the machine, I can move that right underneath to get it right wherever I want it. I found a handy use for this is when I'm cleaning my sewing machines. This little thing is small, and it's easy to get it right down there and give me enough light that I can see. Also on my embroidery machine, when I get thread, if it gets caught, I'll take the head part off the cover, and I can get this little piece right in there so I can check to see if I can see the thread to try to remove it. What are you
You're
doing?
blinding me over here. She's so ornery.
I just think it's great. I am going to get one for my husband. He doesn't think he needs one. I think he does. But you can put this on a serger. Sergers are notorious for not having enough light. I have an older machine I bought to do rope bowls, and I have tried to put the little tape that goes in with the light tape, but most of those you have to plug in order to use it. I don't have to do it with this. I can put one of these on my embroidery machine, on my serger, on my sewing machine. I can carry this and move it and place it. wherever I want. I just find it one of the handiest little things. So now I'm going to talk to you about our embroidery. We brought in Janine Babbage. Happy birthday. It's on a little hanger. We brought the hangers in from Ackfield. The neat thing about this is under $10, ladies. I think with your discount, it's like $7.77. You can't beat it with a stick. It's 12 inches. You could put any kind of little hanging on it. Great price. Now with the happy birthday, on the inside of the pattern is the code. You would go to her website, you register that code to yourself, and it goes into your account, and you can download it as many times as you want. Now, Sandie made happy birthday. And you see along here, she used the sticky tape to help get the rickrack down. I've been pinning mine, and I end up looking like I've been in a cat fight with the scratches from the pins. I'm using this sticky tape now because it so many uses for it. So she did happy birthday. Polly did happy birthday. You see how cute? And the only applique in this are the two little balloons and the hat. Everything else is stitched. Now there again, my brain did not work that way. I did not see a wall hanging. Originally, I was going to make a placemat for my nieces and nephew, and then I thought, do I really want a young person eating red frosted cake on my placemat? Wasn't going to happen. I didn't want to have to Odie coat it a ½ inch thick, and I didn't want to have to put it under vinyl and plastic. So I made two of them, and I put one going each way. So now I have a table runner, and no matter what side you're sitting on, you have happy birthday. There again, I made a third one. Can you guess what this is? It's a chair cover. Easy peasy to make. You could have this where they're sitting on it, or put this on the back and have them sit against the fabric. I have a birthday set now that my niece is going to get for the kids, and I don't have to worry about red frosted cake.
Tell them what you're going to do for you.
What I'm going to do for me, she's giving me a bad time. I like the bright colors. I'm going to get a denim jacket, and I'm going to put this on the back. I can wear this all month of my birthday. And ladies, if you go into some places, you get a free dessert if it's your birthday. Also, some stores will give you a 10% off. It doesn't have to be the exact day. You can, like, you know, we got February, Valentine all month. Your birthday can be all month. The only thing Sandie suggested to me was I need to have a calendar so I can write down the places I've gone into so I don't go back in a second time, because they're going to say, uh-oh. Now, what I was most excited about, and Sandie just laughed, is the Ultimate Glue Guide. This book, I feel every household should have. And the first one, and I say the first one because I took it home and my husband made off with it. It's now in his shop somewhere. This book originally, the author is a cosplayer, and it was originally designed for cosplayers that make their costumes. And you know, they use metal to leather to foam. They glue everything under the sun to everything under the sun. This book, in the front, any type of glue you can think of is going to fall into one of these categories. Now, the reason why I say I think it's very important to have for information this glue, Sandy was laughing. I went out and I've got another bag of glue at home. I bought all kinds of glue because I was looking them all up. I have read this book twice. This is a very common glue. Do you realize that if you've ever read the warnings, you may or may not, you rip it out of the package, you don't save the package. Now you're trying to read minuscule whatever's on this little tiny tube. Do you realize, I did not realize till I read in the book, this is hazardous to your lungs. They recommend a mask or a well-ventilated area. Also, it can be explosive and catch fire. Who knew? Everybody uses it. This also book has tables, so we all have the junk drawer, right? With all the glues, and you want to glue something together. So you run to your junk drawer, you grab a glue, and you hope that that is going to work on whatever you're gluing. And sometimes it does, and most often it doesn't. If you look it up in here, whatever you want to glue to whatever it is you want to glue it to, it will tell you what glue is going to give you the best results. Also, this book talks about applications of the glues. It gives you hints. There's one on the glues that fall under the CA glues that if you take baking soda and add it to the glue, you can make a paste and use a popsicle stick to be able to get it into the cracks. So it gives you extra things you can do. It talks about hot glues. It talks about fabric adhesives. It even talks about Elmer's glue, which kindergartners usually like to eat. It will talk about curing times and give you some uses for the different glues. But most all the glues you can think of are going to fall into one of the categories, and the information will be in the book. Now you can try to look it up on your phone if you have your phone with you, and then you're trying to read it while you're trying to glue and the phone goes dark because you've had it on too long. You can try to run to the computer and try to look it up, but now you got to fire your computer up. You can't carry that with you to where you're gluing. I can with this book. So some of the ladies that have seen our presentations have been buying these for their sons and their husbands, as well as themselves, because it's an important reference, especially with some of the precautions. Okay? Now we get to talk about Anne's cardigan and vest. This is probably one of the easiest patterns. I used to do costuming and tailoring. I mean, I've done it all. I don't do hard anymore. This can be totally serged. It has a cardigan and a shell. I found the sizes to be pretty true to size. So depending on what measurement you take, I didn't find that my measurement was small or too large. So if you go extra small to extra large. Now over here, Polly made one. And what they recommend is a knit, but you might want to have it similar in color because this collar can have a tendency of opening up and then you've got the inside. But when Vanna, my cohort here, was trying them on, you have to try it on, you have to show them.
Polly, I love this. You can, gift it to me if you don't like it.
She was walking around and every lady had to feel this. She felt like she was being grabbed at, just walk.
Help me find the sleeve. Oh.
Can you get it?
No.
Just a minute.
There.
Okay. But it's a very comfortable cardigan.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy, can be totally serged. Now I made one over here. This is my first one. I did not alter it at all. You can see it's got this around the neck. And this is a loose knit. So I stabilized my shoulders. I used a ribbon or some of the tape you can get so that it helped to stabilize. But when I was wearing this, I found after a while my shoulders were starting to slide down. Well, that's because the center between the shoulders was not stabilized. All you have to do, take a little piece of ribbon and put it on shoulder to shoulder. Now this is going to be covered and it's going to keep it from sliding off your shoulders. And you can do this with any garment, whether you're making it or purchasing it. I know I have a tendency when I get something, I start clipping ribbons off right away. Well,
I was waiting to see if you'd tell them that.
yeah, you don't always want to do that. Sometimes they're there for a reason. So if you have a sweater or a blouse or something that you find tends to slide, it's very easy to put in that little piece of ribbon to keep it and hold it together. Now this collar I did not alter in any way, and it fits nice, but there is a little more bulk around the neck than I like. It hangs nice. It's easy to alter if you wanted to. Well, what I did, that was a large, I made a medium. The only thing I did different on this one, I did not lengthen or shorten it, but on the collar, I took off 2 inches. So now it lays more like a jacket, okay? I serged around, turned it up, and then just stitched it down. Now the shell, I think this pattern is worth it just for the shell. 2 pieces, no darts, no facings. Some knits, if you have a tightly woven knit, you can just trim and not have to do anything with the neckline. Some knits you can zigzag and make like a little ruffle. I like to serge my necklines and arms and hems and turn them over, and then I stitch down with like a 0.3 zigzag. Now Polly, what she did, she made this one, and you can see it has the little wingies, although she sewed them together. And the hem kind of is cut like this, okay? She put a band around her neck and her arms, okay? The first one I made is this one, and I made it according to the pattern. You see I have my curve in the hemline, and I did the little wingy things. Well, I'm not a wingy person. Now you could tie these, and because of where that ends up at, I am not a person that wants me to be cut off right at the waist, okay? But it's a very comfortable shell. So what I did, I made a large. I lengthened it 2 inches, and you see this doesn't have the little wingies. What you do when you have the pattern, and I'm cutting it out, say. You see my little wingies there? All I did was I just folded the pattern piece up. And when I cut my piece, I just cut down. I can have as much width and swing or as little as I want. It fits really well. You don't end up with a lot, a lot of times the gappage that happens under here. No. Let me show you like the hem. See where I did serge it and turned it up. Now a tip I would like to give you is a lot of times, when you're doing a hem, and this would work with a 1/2 inch hem, it'll work with an 1.5 inch hem, it'll work with any kind of hem. You would press it up where your hem's going to be, and then you stitch. Well, if I'm stitching, when I get to that point, because of the bulk, you see this side? That's doubled like that. So when your foot gets to it, it pushes it. You have to stop your machine, you have to bring your needle up, you try to get it through to get started again, but you end up with a lump. What you do, I fold it up, I get my line where my hem is going to be, and I clip. All I do is clip right up to the seam line. Now, when I fold that up, I have halved the bulk that's in that seam. It's a lot flatter. You can see this one. This is how I did it. It's a lot flatter, and I wish you could feel the difference between the two of them. But the simple act of clipping and trimming.
I'll tell you all, I can feel it, and it's hard. Over here, it's not. Plus, you won't have your foot hanging up.
Yeah.
Now, no, you would not use woven fabric because you need the stretch in your shoulders. And you don't get that with wovens, so you need a knit. Someone also asked where we get our knits. Well, with Joanne's going out, you know, that is a hard one. But we are not fabric snobs. Hobby Lobby carries knits. Yeah. Amanda's Bundles is coming in April to a lot of stores. You can get some great knits from Amanda's Bundles. So sometimes you just got to kind of look outside your box and you will find knits.
This shell is also very easy to alter. Some ladies were telling me, like in the back, they have gapping and they need it to take it in a little bit. Easy to do. It's only 2 pieces, no darts. So if this is my back piece here, I can alter the neck any way I want. Or if this is my pattern and this is my fabric, instead of putting that on the fold, bring it over. I've now taken a 1/2 inch to 1 inch out of the back. I can do the same with the front. And the front, if you don't like it quite as low as it is, it's just as easy to alter because it's 1 piece, no darts. I can make a V-neck. I can bring the neck up. I can also do the same thing if you need to bring in, say, a little bit on the top and leave more on the bottom. Just instead of putting that on the fold, just bring it over. If you need a little extra in the front, just don't put it right up to there. Give yourself a 1/2 inch, and now I've added an inch into my front. So if those of us that are a little more endowed need that, very easy to do because, like I said, it's only 2 pieces, very easy to alter, and you have the option of how you want to finish it off. So
another place to find knits, which we have no problem with, is the thrift stores. You can get a skirt, take it apart, there's your knit.
You know us, we make things out of everything. You could do a knit blanket.
Yep.
That, you know, don't overlook. Fabric is fabric, okay?
Right.
But Amanda's Bundle really has some nice knits. We're gonna hit that. You know, Sew Expo is right now too. And I'm sure online that Quality has some good deals going. And now is the time to scarf up on them, ladies, because once it's gone, it's gone.
And gentlemen.
And gentlemen, she keeps correcting me. I'm going to start saying peoples.
Peoples, come on.
Oh, we got one more.
Okay, we have another winner. Thank you all for your great comments. This one comes from YouTube. Woohoo! Dawn Tennyson.
She didn't let me say it.
You won this beautiful Americana Quilts book with 11 different quilts and ideas in it. So once again, you want to email Andrea at qualitysewing.com. Let her know if you're local and you can pick it up at the store. If you're not, let her know your address and she'll mail it out to you next week. Okay?
Thank you for being with us this morning. We always enjoy doing presentations and
Yes, we
so
do.
fun. And we've
Yep.
been accused of being some of the least uptight. I don't know where they get that from.
I don't know, not me. Okay.
So have a good day and bye, Pasco.
Bye, Pasco. Bye, everybody.